Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the new session. In this session, it's a review session actually, which we have already completed in the lab, but I would like to review this one, which is very important for your exam, especially the final exam. Uh, we'll do the VLAN configuration, okay, which we have already done, right? So anyway, just very small task this one for today's to be practiced to review. In this VLAN configuration, we follow the steps to create the topology and configure the topology to enable the communication among the end devices. So this is basically assume as a sample for your exam. The steps I will provide the steps, and these are very few steps I made it right. So the similar way we will have the exam also. So in this one, we say we create two LANs connect to the third switch. Means basically you have three switches here: switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. So two LANs. LAN means switch, right? You create a using a switch. You can make a LAN, right? Build a LAN. So we have two LANs S1, S2, two LANs, and connect them then to the third switch S3. So basically two LANs. So I did not provide any number of PCs. That's because this is a sample. You can see the topology. And now the second step is statically assign IP addresses to all the end devices using the private IP address. Right? We must use a private IP address range like in class A 10, class B 192.168, and sorry, class A, that is class B is 172.16 to 31. So after this one, view configuration is done. Now it's big large broadcast domain. There is a big low broadcast domain. So we configure the VLANs to make some more broadcast domain, right? But decreasing the number of increasing the number of subnets are LANs. So those are VLANs. So we'll create two VLANs. One VLAN is number 10, that is the name it as COID. Another VLAN is 20, which is a business VLAN. But we need to create the VLANs in all the switches. Make sure that now you create a VLAN in switch 1, switch 2, and you don't create the definition of switch 3. It does not allow the traffic to move from different VLANs, right? So you must have switches. If you are configuring the VLAN in all the switches, you need to configure in all the switches. You cannot leave any one switch, right? If you don't configure, it will not enable the communication. It will not send the packet and receive the packets data frame from different VLAN. All right, so you just configure the switch 1, switch 2 interface ports into VLAN 10. So add some ports in VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, right? This is one thing. And besides adding, then because since you are having multiple switches, then multiple VLANs, then you must configure the trunk port. We need to make one of the interface of the switch. Listen carefully. One of the interface of the switch or switch port to make it work as a trunk. When you make it as a trunk, it will move from VLAN 1 to the native VLAN. That is something common. It's like a common channel, which basically used to allow the traffic message from different VLAN. It provides a communication among multiple VLANs, which is spreads across multiple switches. This is the main purpose of trunk, right? It's a media. It's a communication media. It's a channel, right? It basically access port. You made it as a trunk port by simple command. Beside this one, so you need to configure this trunk in all the switches: switch 1, switch 2, and switch 3. This is basically a VLAN configuration. This part is done. So I want to add one more exercises on the top of this VLAN just for demonstration, right? So I will create two more LANs. I name it as a VLAN. LAN A, LAN B. It's not VLAN. It's just simple LAN connected to the router, right? And the router connected to the switch. Now we have one router in the middle, and there are two LANs A, B connected to the router. Again, the router connected to the third switch, which is a VLAN switch, right? Just this is for demonstration, right? So how do you understand the topology? Then configure the router means assign the IP address to the router interfaces to establish a communication between LAN A and LAN B, the new last one. And we'll see the demonstration of range command, shutdown command, VLAN commands, interfaces command, trunk command. There are many commands we can review this one. This is very, very important. So all these things have been, we need to create using a Cisco packet tracer. To save the time, I already did it. So this is the topology. Okay, I'm expecting from the task, right? So you see we have two LANs, LAN A, not this is LAN A, this is something before the first step, LAN 1, LAN 2, and this is it has two VLANs, 10 and 20, 10 and 20. So basically this is one LAN, another LAN, and this is common switch between connecting the switch 1 and switch. So this is switch 1, this is switch 2, and this is switch 3, right? So in these two switches, switch 1, switch 2, we have two LANs, LAN 10 and 20. I can say here this LAN 10, I name it as a COIT LAN, and LAN 20 as a business LAN. When you configure, you can see this one using the command. Now the same case here. So after your configuration, then you make a trunk. This is a trunk ports here, 2 and 3. Can you see the here from this switch 2, it is a trunk port is F3, and in switch 3, F3 is a trunk port, and again in switch 3 we have F4 fast Ethernet 4 is a trunk port, and here in the switch 1 there is also a fast Ethernet 3 is a trunk port. So when you configure this one, now the switch will again VLAN here also. We need to create VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 in this switch 3 also. Basically VLAN 10, 20 in switch 1, 2 and 3 we need to have a same VLAN number. Got it? Then we have established a communication between this PC to this PC. I am just making between the VLANs 10 to 10 and 20 to 20, right? Beside this, another example, router. This is LAN A, LAN B, or LAN B, LAN A, whatever, two LANs, and this connected to the router connected to the switch 3. So this you need to configure. This is very simple. We have already covered this one also. Okay. So let me show you practically, right? So let's go to the switch now. Now before we go to this one, I will assign the IP address here. Now this is a network 10. I'm taking the network here. I will assign the IP addresses. This is 10.0.0.1. Okay, and there is nothing here, and you can say if something is there you want to go with the router interface, we can have the interface. I can just configure, right? But now let me put the IP address interface here also, 10.0.0.0.100, right? So this is one thing. So this is IP address, this is the gateway address. So it is basically 10.0.0.100. Right, I will copy this part. I close this PC 0. Now let's go PC 1. Desktop IP address. This is 2. This is default gateway 100. Because this is a gateway to reach to this networks 10.0.0.100 for both the LANs. They are the same LAN initially. This is now I can consider as a 3, and this is a 100. Sorry. Now configure the same thing here. This is fourth PC. Done. So this is 4 and this is 1, so both will in the same VLAN. So this is done, right? So IP address configuration is done. Now we'll do the configuration of VLAN. So let's take switch 1 here. Click on the switch 1. Go to the CLI. Enable, or to go to the command configuration terminal to create VLAN. VLAN 10. Enter. Name it as COIT. Again VLAN 20. Name it as BUSINESS business. That's it, right? So now in these two, this fast Ethernet 0 and this is just move here. This is 1, right? You see, look at here. This is 1. 20 is in 1. 2 is in 10, right? So we should be careful because sometimes it is hiding, right? Just you need to look here. This is 2 for VLAN 10. This is 1 first interface. It is for 20. So 1 will go to the 20. So just click here. First exit this part. So interface FA01/1. Now switch port access this port through VLAN. What is the number here? 1 is 20, right? So VLAN 20. Switch port mode access is an optional command for this switch. Hit enter. Similarly, repeat this step for fast Ethernet 2. For fast Ethernet 2, this is fast Ethernet 2 for VLAN 10. Hit enter here. Now again switch port VLAN 10. Done. Look at this one. So how do you view the VLAN? So there is a command here is called show VLAN is a command actually. This is the main command to view the VLAN. If you want small simple one, I can say show VLAN briefly command. So hit enter. Look at the command. It will show you the VLANs here. So there is a default VLAN name default VLAN which is one which is by default is built in come with this one. Now I move the you see the ports you have 24 ports 1 to 24 ports and giga ports. So one I configure the port I move the ports from VLAN 1 to VLAN 20. I move this port 4. Now this is a part of the VLAN 20. Now this is another one. Basically this is three VLAN 1 VLAN 2 and this VLAN 10 and VLAN 20. So it's like a three LANs. They are three LANs, but physically they are same thing, but logically they are separated, right? So internally we configure, we made split into three grouping. We did the grouping. So 2 is a part of the 10 and 1 is a part of 20. So this is a command to see the VLAN. Hopefully it's understand. So same case, repeat the same process the same here in the switch 2, right? So let's repeat this part. Enable configuration terminal. Now here VLAN 10, you need to have the same number. VLAN 10, VLAN 20. I can name it. I want to name it. Just name COIT and VLAN 20 name BUSINESS business. If you are spelling mistake, doesn't matter. The name is doesn't matter, right? The most important the number. It works with the number. Now exit from this VLAN configuration. Now interface FA0/1. So 01 it is assigned to the VLAN 10. Look at here. So switch port access VLAN 10. For 2 20. Exit. You want to see this one. So if you are in the configuration mode, just you need to write do extra do show VLAN brief, right? You see the same configuration I did, right? So we have same definitions. Done. So takes time for reassigning. So I will go to the third switch. We need to create the VLAN. CLI enable configuration terminal VLAN 10 VLAN 20. I don't want to give the name. It's okay. It works. I want to name it. Name. This is VLAN 10. The name is BUSINESS business. Okay. Now if I say here VLAN 10 again because I did not provide the name, it will overwrite. So I will name it as a COIT. Done. You can create multiple VLANs, right? There are some limitations, big numbers based on the switches and everything capacity. Anyway, so we can see this part here because there is no interface, there is no end devices connected to this one because they're all intermediate devices. So there is no third, it's just connecting device, right? So I just want to see here, do show VLAN brief. Sorry, the command mistake, typo, yeah. You see, don't have any interfaces, all are under the VLAN one, right? So from these interfaces, we need to see the switch 3. Now we are on switch 3, right? S3. I would like to configure the port 3, interface 3 and 4 as a trunk port, So here interface FA03, okay, switch port mode trunk. This is a command. So making this interface F3 as a trunk, work as a trunk. Hit enter. Once again changing this line, hit enter again. Again the fourth port also. Fourth connected to the switch 1, right? switch port trunk, right? It will reassign. You look at here, these two are and 3 and 4. Similarly in S1 F3 is a trunk port and S2 also trunk port, right? So I'll click on S1, configure terminal. So I say here interface F0/3 switch port mode trunk. Done. There's only one port here, another one from S2. Interface FA0/3 switch port mode trunk. Right. So all done. So basically just fast forward this part. Now you look at, just I want to go the view the trunk port. This is a command. How to see the trunk port, which ports are trunk port, right? And the definition of VLAN. So here's the command here. I'm in the switch 3. So basically in switch 3, we have two trunk port. One is 3 and 4 as per the topology. We have to look at topology carefully, right? So the command is, first you need to exit, show interfaces. Which interfaces? Show the interfaces which are trunk, acting as a trunk. Hit enter. Just I will expand this part. You see, show interfaces trunk. So it's a port 3 and 4 mode on, and they are trunking protocol. And now they are part of native VLAN 1. Okay. So this is and this VLANs allow trunking 1004. There is some range, right? It is the default VLANs. Now you created VLAN 10, 20 also. So fast Ethernet 3 and 4 are carrying the traffic, managing the traffic from VLAN 1, 10 and 20. Now if you don't have definition 10, 20, it will not carry the traffic. That's why that's the reason we need to make it as a trunk port. Now basically you see again, show VLAN brief. You look here in the third switch, we have 3 and 4, right? It will be hidden. You see, there is no 3 and 4. It's a part of native VLAN now, right? It's gone from that one, so that you can work on other ports, right? This is, hope you understand this part. So this is where you can have communication. Now I configured this part. Let me just fast forward and establish communication. I want to ping from this PC to this same VLAN. It is successful. Now from this VLAN 20 to 20, successful. Now I want to ping from this VLAN 10 to 20, should be a progress and failed. Similar case here, should not ping. If it is pinging, means you should check your VLAN configuration port, which access port. So this is basically this VLAN. Beside this one, there are more commands I want to explain. I will ask this in the exams, right? Click on this one. Example, I'm taking the switch 1. Okay, exit here. See, I can create. I want to see here. Show VLAN brief. Now basically I will take the switch 3 because empty, right? So you see here, so 1, 2, I can use it, right? These are the ports. Now I have to play around with these ports. So what I do here, configuration terminal, I want to move the port 1 and 2 to another VLAN or something. I will leave this part number from 5 to 10. Example, for example 5 to 10, I want to use it for add it to the another VLAN, right? Example, interface at once I want to go. I will not configure each individual interfaces. I will configure all the interfaces into one as a single command using called range command. So how you use interface type range fast Ethernet 05 dash, sorry, fast Ethernet, okay, just right, no need full, fast FA0/5 from 5 ila 24. You see 24. Is it clear? So this is so I got in the range mode. You see, I'm in the range mode. So now you can configure. So I will say switch port access VLAN. I say it is 30. Since I did not create it 30, the system will create it. The SOS, Cisco iOS switch iOS will create the VLAN and it will move all these ports from 5 to 24 into the VLAN 10. You hit the command, you say access VLAN does not exist, but it's creating. Got it? So let me show you this one. Exact exit. Exit here. From exit I can say do show VLAN brief. Now you see here VLAN 30 is created, is a default name is given something VLAN 0030 and all the ports under this part. Clear? Now I want to do one more thing. I want, because these two ports are useless for me, assume I don't want to use it. I want to, for security reason, either you move here also, or I want to shut down this port. I want to demonstrate. I want to shut down. I don't want, I will, by default, all the ports are active, right? But I will make it inactive by shutting down or not active, right? Or down stage. So what to do here? So same thing, use the command here, exit switch port interface from 1 to 2. I have to hit enter. I say shut down. You say down. Fast Ethernet 01 down, fast Ethernet 02 down. Exit, show VLAN brief. It is shutdown mode, okay? When you use it, it will not enable, right? So this is one thing. So this is the command here, and that's it. You can use a VLAN command interface and show will. We have seen the commands, right? We have seen show VLAN, we have seen show interface is trunk, range command, shutdown command. All things are done. This is basically a VLAN. So if you have VLAN configuration, make sure how many switches are there and what are the VLAN configuration and what are the commands to configure it. So, and how do you see a view this one? This is one part of the topology. The next part is different part, but I merge into as a single because to save the time here. So this, now there are two LANs here. One is configured with one network 192.168.0. This is network, and is one another network 172.16.0.0. So I assign the IP address here and have to assign the configure the IP address for G0. Let me assign here IP address here for this server one. Desktop is like a 192.168.1.1 subnet mask, and what is a interface ID G00 192.168.1.100 for default gateway 192.168.1.100, right? This is done. Similarly here, because only one device is here, so here 172.16.0.1. So I will have 172.16.0.100. This is 0.100, right? So let's configure this part. So there is no VLAN. This is something different. Okay. Now I will create an interface. I have to assign the IP address to this interface 00 for this IP address, and this IP address 172.16.0 to this interface 0/2. And here also for 01 10.0.0.1, and you have to enable the turn up the interface link, right? So let's go with this one. So 0, 01 and 02. 0 is looking this part. Go to the CLI. You say no, enable configure terminal. IP. What is the command to configure? First, we need to go to the interface. Interface G0/0. So G0/0 is 192.168.1.100, right? So what's the command here? IP address. What is the IP address? 192.168.1.100. Let me expand this part here. 100 and subnet mask 255.255.250. It's a class C, right? Hit enter. Done. Then you need to say here this interface is by default shutdown, is enabled, disabled. So you need to enable, right? So you need to say no shutdown. Turn it on. You need. can write shut also, you can write shut door, it works, right? So this is done. Now you say it's turning up. Similarly, you can repeat the step interface 01. What is 01? This is 10.0.0.1. So this command is no use. You can write a no shutdown also first. Doesn't matter, right? First you need to configure interface. If it works, okay, interface. Sorry, did I go with this is 00? Sorry, man. 0 no shutdown doesn't work. Then IP address or add 10.0.0.100 to 55.0.0.0. Hit enter. Then no shutdown. Right. Another mode interface 02 IP address. I'll tell you one the problem. IP address 172.16.0.100 to 55.255.0.0. Hit enter. No shutdown. It will work. Here you see you did no shutdown, but you remember here I did FA01 as shutdown, right? So I had to go and check the enable it. So switch 3 exit, sorry, not exit, configure terminal, because the last time I shut down that one by mistake, and not mistake, to demonstrate, right? So I want to no shutdown interface FA0/1. Is it 1 or 2? 1. It's a 1, right? Say no shut. Now it works, right? So all is done. Hopefully it's done. So now here says there are two different VLANs, right? And there is no VLAN communication, VLAN definition here, and there is no VLAN definition here, and there is no trunking definition here. So the traffic from this network cannot communicate with these two VLANs, because there is no definition. Like the traffic from this VLANs can communicate with this LAN, because the third, with the middle switch, has the definition using the trunk port. But we need to have one more trunking in the router also, to move the traffic, to allow the traffic from different VLANs of another networks. So that's called inter VLAN routing. So that's correct. So that's we will do later that part. Now at this moment, between this network, this network, the traffic has to. So how do you see this? Because similarly, likewise in switch, it has a MAC address table. The router also has a routing table. How do you see the routing table? Click on the router, exit, show IP route, show IP route. This is the command. It's very important command to memorize. What is a routing command to see? So there are three networks: 10, 172, 192, 192, 160.1.0. What is not taking this part? Okay, configure terminal. All right, so interface interface G0/2. Is it /2 or /1? 00 IP address 192.168.1.0 1.100 255.255.255.0, right? Now exit, show IP route. Now it works. Since it is a part of the VLAN, doesn't show here, right? So anyway, so one more thing here, two routers which are directly connected to it. There's another way to see this one. Just click on this magnifying here. You can say inspect, click on the inspect, click on the, look at the symbol, click on the router routing table. Don't go IP6, it is IP4, this is IP4. Click on here. You see here two routers. If there is no VLAN, then it will show the 10th one also. Because there is no VLAN between these two here, so it's not part of the third LAN. So that one is not showing up here, right? So that we need to, because you need to configure that part in the router so that it also enable as a router, right? Since it is not, because those are VLANs. So for me, it's like a mixed up. It's a different concept, right? It's different exercises, but I want to merge it. I want to show, I want to assess into one topology. Okay, great. So this is one thing. So basically, you see communication between this server to this server. First packet it will lost because of ERP, and the second it will has to communicate. One more time. One more time. Let me check. IP address 192.168.100. This is good. 192.168.1.1. All right. Maybe if it is because of VLAN, it is not identifying. 192.172.16.0.100. This is also correct. This is, as I told, it's just for practice. But if you have separate networks, it should work. 172.16, 192.1.0. All right. This PC to this router successful. This interface to this one successful. And this PC to here should progress. Right, should communicate as per my topology. Should, because definition shows both network 172. Did I configure wrong somewhere? Until I configure wrong. If it is not, it will definitely ping. Anyway, I will just interface, sorry, configuration terminal, IP address 192.168, 192.168.1.1. Say 100. G0 interface, G0/0/0, IP address 192.168.1.100, 255.255.255.0, right? So this is done. Another one, interface G01 or G02, G02. I need to type here IP address 172.16.0.100. So this is 255.255.0.0. Exit. All right. Ping from this server to the server. Fail. It should work. It should work. Hopefully, if it is because of VLAN here, the server should not work. All are okay. For this point of view, is okay, right? Anyway, if you remove any other thing, they might be because of VLAN. This network settings, it's not able to identify the networks. But look at the routing table. It shows 32, 162.32. Why it is 32? Should be 16. You see, 16, 30. Okay, 16 is correct. This is also correct. 00, 100 and 0.100. 16.0.100. Also 16.0.100. It's perfect. you see yes, communication between the same interface successful from here to here successful. How about here to here? Because different VLAN, it will not go. This is might be the reason. Okay. So anyway, this at the end I told you here. Okay, this topology is not real topology, as basically there are two different things we are configuring. They are not in the same line. So if you have VLAN configuration here, like a trunking something, there is inter VLAN routing, then these three will able to communicate, right? Generally, if there is no VLAN here, then they can definitely, we have seen in the lab, right? So this is one thing. Let me check another way. Configuration 00, 192.168.100, and this is 0, 0, 0, 1. Forget about 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 1 is 0, 1. I can say 10.0.0.100. Right. One more time. One more time. Okay. So this one from here to here, all done. The router. So let me check the routing. Now it's identifying everything. All interfaces are here. Up. Shows three networks. 10, 172, 192. All right. Anything. Our configuration is okay, but except this part, LAN. Right. If something else, like if there is a alternative, I will explain you later. But you should check all this through, right? That's it, guys. Let's see. Okay. If something else, I will explain you. Okay. Next week. Go with this one. Come with the same thing. We'll do the review in the next class. Apart from this one, you need to have a switch port security, switch security, MAC address table, ARP table, and switch MAC address table, and ARP table, ARP cache table, the working of switch functions. So these are all you need to have a practical approach, right? Practically, you need to understand simulation mode, real mode. All right. So this is important. Let's see this one last. Still, we have time for this part. Now simulation, remove all. I will make the edit ICMP only, right? So let's go with this PC to this ping here. So what about this step? It will send to this switch will forward to the router will, it is sending. Now why it is failed? It sends the packet simulation mode perfectly. Why it is considered as failed? The only problem failed because of if I misconfigure any IP address. If I misconfigure any IP address, it will send. Let me do this part. Real time. We'll go to the server command prompt. Use ping 172.16.0.1. Right. This is 0.1. It's not pinging. Right. Request time what? Request time what? Same thing. Should come only one time. It comes twice. Anyway, I will figure out this problem, okay? Because it's to save the video, to short the video, I have to close on, right? So that's it. We'll see.